2026 is absolutely stacked with JRPGs. But while everyone's obsessing over the big names, some legitimately great games are getting zero attention. I'm talking Vagrant Story spiritual successors, free indie crossovers, and remakes that actually fix the original's problems. I've got 15 games you've probably never heard of that deserve to be on your radar. Let's get into it.
Number 1. SacriFire. This is pixelated milk explicitly targeting the hardcore PS1 era crowd by citing Vagrant Story and Xenogears as influences, and they've got the pedigree to back it up. The vibe is sci-fi meets religious fantasy. The setting splits between the subterranean city of Antioch and the spirit paradise of Erebus, blending technology and mysticism. You plays Ezekiel Ridden, a young priest training to become a bishop who's sent on a mission to recover an ancient artifact called Malcora. The narrative's supposedly dense and philosophical, which fits the Xenogears comparison. This isn't the light, breezy adventure. The hook is the combat system. It blends real-time movement with turn-based targeting, and you can target individual body parts of enemies to disable limbs, a direct nod to Vagrant Story's locational damage. String attacks together to create elaborate combos, and enemies react dynamically to where you hit them. Plus, the soundtrack's composed by Motoi Sakuraba, the legend behind Dark Souls and the Tales series. For an indie game, that's AAA tier audio design. The tragedy is that it's an indie game making massive promises to a fanbase that's been burned before. People have heard spiritual successor to Vagrant Story too many times, and most of those games never delivered. SacriFire had a successful Kickstarter back in 2021, but it's been radio silent for stretches. The PC version hits Q1 2026 with consoles later that year, which means it's launching alongside Trails Beyond the Horizon, Code Vein 2, and Dragon Quest VII. It's gonna get massacred in that window. If it sticks the landing though, this could be the cult classic that people discover a year later and won't shut up about.
Number 2. Forge of the Fae. This is indie developer Datadyne making a pixel art JRPG inspired by Celtic folklore, and the fact that Deck 13, the publishers behind Crosscode and Chained Echoes, picked it up tells you they see something special here. The vibe is Celtic myth meets steampunk invention. You play as Fiora, a brilliant inventor investigating mysterious disappearances in a world where a miners' strike is being violently suppressed. There's intrigue, magic, and this ominous mining company using force to keep workers in line. The setting's got that industrial fantasy edge where technology and ancient magic are clashing. The hook is the crystal system. It's not just equipping magic, you're creating combinations that merge magical abilities with specific skills. Each character has distinctive playstyles and can accumulate adrenaline during combat for unique attacks. It's turn-based with tactical depth, and the way crystals channel magic sounds genuinely fresh. Plus, exploration's a big deal. The world's packed with secrets that reward you for poking around. Why is it getting slept on? It's an indie making big swings in a year absolutely dominated by major releases. The Kickstarter launched back in September 2024, and while the game looks gorgeous in that classic pixel art style, it was originally planned for August 2026, before getting pushed to 2027 when Deck 13 Spotlight came on board as publisher. If you're into retro JRPGs with unique settings, think less generic fantasy kingdom, more industrial folklore with political tension. This deserves to be on your radar. Just don't expect to hear much about it until closer to launch. Number 3. DECAPOLICE. This is Level 5, the studio behind Professor Layton and Inazuma 11, making a crime suspense RPG. And it's been delayed so many times that it's become a meme. Originally planned for 2023, then 2024, now it's landing sometime in 2026. The vibe is detective procedural meets virtual reality training. You're Harvard Marks, a rookie detective in the crime-ridden city of Broadstone, and you're hunting criminals by traveling between physical reality and a virtual space called Decaism. Think Persona 5's metaverse, but for police work. Criminals' unlawful acts manifest as crime beasts you have to fight in this digital world, and what you learn there becomes clues for solving cases in reality. The hook is the sheer ambition. Level 5's building a large open world, implementing dual reality mechanics, and they're launching an anime adaptation simultaneously with the game. The combat blends investigation with turn-based battles, and there's this whole mystery about a hacker who's transformed character data into toys, altering everyone's appearances. The theme song's by Maria from Garnidelia, which fits the dramatic, high-stakes tone. The tragedy, those delays are brutal. 3 years of pushbacks suggest serious development struggles, and Level 5's track record outside Japan has been rocky since they shut down their Western branches in 2018. Plus, crime procedural JRPGs are basically non-existent. It's a risky genre blend that could either be brilliant or a total mess. If you're starving for something different in the JRPG space, and you're willing to gamble on an ambitious experiment, keep an eye on this. Just don't hold your breath for that 2026 window to stick.
Number 4, Trails in the Sky, Second Chapter. If you grab the first chapter remake that dropped in September 2025, this is the sequel, and Falcom's moving fast on it. The vibe is direct continuation, Estelle's journey to save Joshua after the cliffhanger ending of the first game. This is widely considered one of the best entries in the entire Trails franchise narratively, with higher stakes, more complex character development, and some of the most emotionally devastating story beats in the series. The remake's getting the same full 3D treatment as first chapter, rebuilt in Falcom's FDK engine, with expanded content and full voice acting. The hook is that they're reusing assets from the first remake, which means development's way faster. The original Sky SC shared tons of locations and systems with FC, so Falcom can focus on adding new content, refining combat, and expanding the story rather than rebuilding everything from scratch. You're getting that field battle system again, the turn-based grid combat, but with all the improvements and feedback they gathered from first chapter's reception. Why is this one interesting? Timing. Fall 2026 puts it almost exactly a year after first chapter, which is aggressive for a full remake. But if you're invested in the Trails series, and with Beyond the Horizon hitting in January 2026, fans are deep in. This is the continuation everyone's been waiting for. The tragedy is the same as first chapter. New players see part 2 of a 20-game saga and bounce. But if you started with the remake, this is essential. Just be ready for one of the most bittersweet, gut-punch stories in JRPGs.
Number 5. The Legend of Heroes: Trails Beyond the Horizon. Okay, this one's not exactly overlooked if you're a Trails fan, but outside that bubble, crickets. The vibe is the culmination of a 20-year saga. This is the 13th game in the Trails series, the third chapter of the Calvard arc, and it's being marketed as the beginning of the final phase. The subtitle, Beyond the Horizon, is literal. The story's pivoting from political intrigue to space opera. They're breaking through Zemuria's atmospheric barrier, tackling the mysteries of the Septarions, the Great Collapse, all the lore threads they've been building for 2 decades. The hook, mechanically, is the refined Blitz attack system. It's that seamless toggle between real-time field combat and turn-based strategy. But now you can trigger high-speed strikes that give you massive advantages when transitioning between modes. You need to master both, real-time for clearing trash mobs, turn-based for bosses where you need arts and crafts combos. Why is it getting slept on in the West? Historically, Trails games take 2 to 3 years to get localized. But this time, NIS America pulled off a near-simultaneous worldwide release. That's huge for the community. But casually, people see 13th game in a series and run. The barrier to entry is intimidating as hell. But if you've been on the fence about Trails, the Sky remake came out in September specifically to onboard new players for this game. It's the biggest narrative event in the genre this year, and I feel like only hardcore fans are paying attention. Number 6. Code Vein 2. Remember the first Code Vein? The anime Souls game that people either loved or bounced off hard? The sequel's doubling down on everything that made it weird. The vibe is gothic, post-apocalyptic vampire action RPG, but now with time travel. The world's being warped by the resurgence, turning reality into horrors, and you're a revenant hunter who has to travel back 100 years to save legendary heroes of the past. Your companion, Lou, literally revived you with her own heart, which is both sweet and deeply uncomfortable. The Hook is the new Partner System 2.0. You can now fuse with your partner in assimilation mode. It's basically a devil trigger state that grants enhanced stats and new abilities. The weapon system got overhauled too. Jails are specialized weapons like the new Reaper Jail Scythe, and Forme are transformation abilities. Plus, they kept the Blood Code class system, but refined it with more customization options, rewarding high-skill play. Tragedy: the first Code Vein was divisive. Character creator was legendary, but the level design was criticized. The story was melodramatic, and the difficulty spikes were brutal. So even though this sequel looks like it's fixing a lot of those issues, people are skeptical. It's also launching in that insane January window alongside Trails Beyond the Horizon, so it's gonna get buried. But if you liked the first game, or you're craving a Souls-like with more narrative focus, this is worth watching.
Number 7. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. This is a bold-ass remake of one of the longest, grindiest JRPGs ever made, and Square Enix is gambling that people will give it another shot. The vibe is this gorgeous, handcrafted diorama aesthetic. It's not HD 2D like Octopath. It's more like playing with high-end miniatures. The world's rendered as bright, detailed dioramas with modern lighting and depth of field effects. Toriyama's character designs have been recreated with this clay-like tactile feel that's genuinely unique. The Hook is the moonlighting system. In the original, leveling up vocations was a nightmare grind. Now you can equip and level 2 vocations simultaneously. Want to be a priest and a warrior at the same time? Done. This lets you unlock advanced classes like Paladin way faster and encourages experimentation without the penalty of wasted time. They also streamlined the monster vocations into a single monster masterclass with monster hearts, accessories that grant passive abilities. The episodic story structure's been made pacier too. Why is it getting overlooked? Dragon Quest VII has a reputation. People remember it as that 100-hour slog with a slow start. Even fans of the series side-eye it. So despite Square Enix modernizing the hell out of it, the damage is done. Plus, it's launching 1 week before Yakuza Kiwami 3, which is getting way more hype. But if you bounced off the original or the 3DS version, this is the definitive way to experience it. They fixed the problems. Nioh 3. Team Ninja's moving the timeline forward to 1622, the Tokugawa succession crisis, and they're going open world. Yeah, open world Nioh. The vibe is historical Japan but with yokai apocalypse vibes. You play as Tokugawa Takechiyo, the future shogun Iemitsu, who's battling his jealous younger brother Kunamatsu. Kunamatsu's leading an army of yokai, and you're using the guardian spirit Kusanagi to transcend time, visiting past eras like Sengoku and Heian periods. You get to interact with legends like Takeda Shingen and Minamoto no Yoshitsune, which is Team Ninja reusing popular historical figures while advancing the main story. The Hook is the shift to a vast open field structure. No more mission-based levels, it's seamless exploration, clearly influenced by Elden Ring's success. Plus, you can instantly switch between samurai and ninja modes mid-combat, suggesting they've consolidated the weapon system into broader, more versatile archetypes. That could streamline the complexity that made Nioh 2 overwhelming for some people. The tragedy: Nioh's always been niche. The first 2 games have hardcore fans, but they never hit that mainstream Souls audience. Launching the day after Dragon Quest VII, sandwiched between 2 massive JRPGs, it's gonna get lost. But if you're into action RPGs with deep combat systems and Japanese history, this is shaping up to be the best in the series.
Number 9. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. This is RGG Studio doing something wild, bundling a full remake with a brand new standalone game in one package. The vibe of Kiwami 3 is Dad of Dojima. The story is about Kiryu trying to leave the Yakuza life to run the Morning Glory orphanage in Okinawa. The remake leans hard into the life sim elements: detailed cooking, harvesting vegetables, sewing, fishing, bug catching. These aren't mini-games, they're core progression systems that deepen your bonds with the orphans. You track Kiryu's evolution from making basic curry to preparing elaborate dishes with the secret ingredient, love. It's wholesome as hell. But the real hook is Dark Ties, a completely new game where you play as Yoshitaka Mine, the fan-favorite antagonist from Yakuza 3. Mine originally died in that game, and fans have been begging for more of him for years. This is a what-if story exploring his life before he became a villain, a man who led a successful startup before diving into the Yakuza, searching for true bonds after being left with an empty heart. The combat's boxing-based, focused on footwork and precision striking, completely different from Kiryu's brawling style. Why is this getting slept on? Honestly, it's not in the West. Yakuza fans are hyped. But in the broader JRPG conversation, people see remake of the Black Sheep Yakuza game and shrug. Yakuza 3's reputation for slow pacing and aging mechanics scares people off. But RGG's addressing that, and the fact they're throwing in a full second game to justify the price, that's insane value.
Number 10. Tales of Berseria Remastered. This is Bandai Namco doing the bare minimum to make the definitive version of Velvet Crow's revenge story. And honestly, sometimes the bare minimum is enough. The vibe is dark fantasy road trip with a morally gray protagonist. Velvet's out for blood after the Abbey took everything from her, and the party is this ragtag group of misfits who all have reasons to burn the world down. It's still one of the best Tales games narratively, and the remastered version keeps that intact. The hook is the quality of life improvements. Movement speeds increased by 20%, item pickups are instant, there's a half-price shop option from the start, and all the DLC costumes and item sets are included. They've also tweaked the script. Rumors suggest they're restoring cut content or improving localization from the original release. It's not a remake, but it's smoothing out the rough edges. The tragedy is that it's a remaster launching in the most stacked month of 2026, same week as Nioh 3, 2 weeks after Yakuza, 1 week after Dragon Quest. Nobody's talking about it because it's not flashy, it's just, here's Berseria again, but better. But if you never played it, or you bounced off the PC version's technical issues, this is the way to experience it. Velvet Story deserves more recognition, and this version fixes the little annoyances that held the original back.
Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection. Capcom's taking the cute monster collecting spin-off and making it dark, which is either brilliant or a disaster waiting to happen. The vibe is corrupted paradise. The narrative centers on monsters turning feral, overly hostile and dangerous, forcing you as a rider to confront the ethics of bonding with creatures that might betray you. The subtitle Twisted Reflection hints at duality and corruption, and they're bringing back Yamasukami, the elder dragon that hasn't been a focal point since 2008. That's a deep lore cut, suggesting this story is going big. The hook, mechanically, is that it's a launch title for the Switch 2. It confirms amiibo support for the new hardware. You can unlock exclusive layered armor like Rathalos V and Rudy outfits. Visually, they're ditching the chibi style for more proportional character models and handcrafted visuals, likely using the RE engine's scalability. The turn-based combat's getting refined too, though details are scarce. Why is it getting overlooked? Monster Hunter Stories has always been niche. The first 2 games have cult followings, but they never broke out. Launching in mid-March, a month after the February apocalypse of releases, means the conversation's already moved on. Plus, people see Monster Hunter and think action game, not turn-based RPG. But if you like the stories too, or you're into creature collectors with actual narrative stakes, this darker tone could be exactly what the series needs. Number 12. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, this is a Switch 2 exclusive, and it's one of the few games confirmed to not run on the original Switch, meaning it's leveraging that new hardware hard. The vibe is Gladiator Tournament meets Divine Wish Granting. Instead of continental war, the story centers on the great gladiator games of Dagtheon. The victor gets a wish from the Divine Pope or Divine Sovereign, which brings together a diverse cast. Kai fighting to save his father, Theodora seeking strength to lead her people, Dietrich chasing redemption. It's Fire Emblem does Battle Royale, basically. The hook is the Three Houses connection. Leaks and trailer analysis suggest this is tied to the Fodland universe. Sothis appears, there are demonic beasts, weapons have crest stones embedded. It might be a distant sequel or parallel timeline. The tournament structure also changes the campaign loop. Instead of a linear map crawl, you're operating from a central hub with bracket-style matches and story missions outside the arena. That could allow for more concentrated, high-difficulty tactical puzzles. The tragedy? It's summer 2026, which is vague as hell and puts it after the initial Switch 2 hype cycle. By summer, people will have moved on from launch titles. Plus, Nintendo's marketing for this has been almost non-existent compared to other Switch 2 games. If you're a Fire Emblem fan, you're paying attention, but casually, it's getting drowned out. Lost Hellden. This is Artisan Studios pioneering a visual style called Deep 2D, and it looks stunning. The vibe is living painting dark fantasy. Deep 2D layers hand-painted 2D artwork over 3D geometry, allowing for dynamic lighting, weather effects, and camera movement within what looks like a 2D game. It solves the flatness of traditional 2D RPGs without hitting the uncanny valley of low-budget 3D. The aesthetic alone makes this stand out. The hook is the 7 Deadly Sins theme. People in the world of Era are bound to one sin at birth, and those who resist are promised Hellden. The combat uses a phased battle system where you can pause the action to select skills. Think Final Fantasy VII Remake, while managing real-time positioning. It's blending action and turn-based in a way that feels fresh. Why is it getting slept on? Artisan Studios is unknown, the release date is vague, and they're competing with AAA giants. The deep 2D tech is impressive, but without hands-on demos or a strong marketing push, people don't know it exists. It's the definition of indie ambition that could either be a masterpiece or disappear entirely. If you're into unique art styles and experimental combat, keep this on your radar. Number 14, Infinite Alliance. This is Critical Games making a completely free indie JRPG crossover, and it's one of the most ambitious collaborations the genre's ever seen. The vibe is Smash Bros. Meets classic JRPG storytelling. Heroes and villains from over 13 indie JRPGs. Chained Echoes, Jack Move, 8-Bit Adventures 2, Quartet, Beloved Rapture, and more are pulled from their worlds and stranded on a dead planet. They have to team up to redeem a fallen hero and destroy an original villain called Qlifoth. It's a love letter to the indie JRPG scene, designed to introduce players to games they might have missed. The hook is that it's legitimately free. No gacha, no microtransactions, just a pure turn-based RPG experience. You control a party of 9 characters in stylish turn-based battles, exploring reimagined environments from the featured games. The developer explicitly cited Marvel's Secret Wars as inspiration, a crossover event designed to introduce new audiences to lesser-known characters. On consoles, there are optional charity purchases, but on Steam, it's 100% free. Why is it getting slept on? It's free, so there's no marketing budget. It's indie, so it's not getting publisher hype, and crossover games are risky. People worry they'll be shallow fan service instead of real narratives. But Critical Games made 8-bit adventures and tales across time, so they know how to craft compelling JRPG stories.
If you're even remotely interested in indie JRPGs, this is a no-brainer wish list. It costs nothing, supports indie devs, and might introduce you to your next favorite game.
Number 15. Threads of Time. This is a Rio Games making a Chrono Trigger spiritual successor in Unreal Engine 5, and it looks like they might actually pull it off. The vibe is time-hopping nostalgia. You travel from the age of dinosaurs to a neon-lit future, hitting all the classic eras. The combat features dual tech and triple tech combo attacks straight out of Chrono Trigger's playbook. Visually, it's using 2D pixel art sprites against high-fidelity 3D backgrounds with modern lighting. Basically, HD 2D, but built in UE5 instead of Square's proprietary engine. The hook is that it's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just asking, what if we made Chrono Trigger but with 2025 technology? And honestly, that's enough. The trailer shows off era hopping, party combos, and that classic JRPG charm. Why is it getting overlooked? It's a PC and Xbox exclusive. No PlayStation, no Nintendo. That's a death sentence for JRPG visibility. Plus, the release date's vague, the developer's unknown, and people are skeptical of Chrono Trigger's successor claims after Sea of Stars divided the fanbase. But the footage looks genuinely promising. If you're a Chrono Trigger diehard and you're willing to take a chance on an indie, this deserves to be on your wish list. So there you go, 15 JRPGs that are either getting buried by bad timing, niche appeal, or just lack of marketing. Some of these are going to be massive in hindsight, some are going to stay cult classics, and a couple might flop entirely. But they all deserve more attention than they're getting. If I had to pick 3 to absolutely not miss, SacriFire for the Vagrant Story / Xenogears vibes, Trails Beyond the Horizon if you're even remotely invested in the series, and Yakuza Kiwami 3 for the sheer value of getting 2 games in one package. But honestly, check out the ones that sound interesting to you. The JRPG genre thrives when people take chances on weird, ambitious projects. Let me know in the comments which ones you're hyped for, or if I missed something that deserves to be on this list. And yeah, go wishlist these. Algorithms matter, and these devs need the support. Catch you in the next one.